Hi everybody. Today we're here to focus on how to self-myofascial release the shoulder. So the shoulder complex. Let's see. So who would benefit from working on the shoulder? Just like I said with the hip video, pretty much everybody. So what I like to say a lot to my clients is that life happens in front of us. So that means your keyboard, your steering wheel, your cell phone, any kind of daily activities, pouring some drink, even like brushing your hair, right? Brushing your teeth. Everything's kind of in your frontal plane, lifting the kids up, whatever. To actually lifting weights, swimming, throwing, some more athletic activities, and just more sedentary activities. All happens kind of in front. So what that ends up doing is you end up having shortened muscles in the front that don't really need a lot of prompting to be short and to be tight. And then the opposing muscles in the back of the shoulder, which we will put all those muscles up for you so you can see. But again, the opposing muscle group is going to be doing the opposite. So they're going to be overstretched and usually just very taut and kind of sensitive. Maybe not even really activated because they've just kind of given up because these are pulling so much. So the shoulder complex, so so the muscles that we're talking about, the what, are going to be based around 4 joints. So you have the glenohumeral joint, which is going to be between the joint of the scapula and the head of the humerus, your arm bone, that connection. Then you have the acromioclavicular joint, which is going to be between the scapula, your shoulder blade, and your clavicle. Then you have your sternoclavicular joint, which is going to be between your collarbone or your clavicle and your sternum, the chest plate. Then there's kind of a floating joint, which is between the scapula, the shoulder blade, and your thoracic wall, your rib cage, your back area. So kind of where your shoulders wing. That's an articulation zone area, or it kind of glides a little bit. So that's also considered one of the joints. So all the muscles around there. So it's going to be your pec muscles, the muscles that kind of feed up into your neck, those go into the shoulder blade. You have your rhomboids and your trapezius. Those are connecting the shoulder blade to the thoracic spine, your mid-back area. Again, there's going to be a diagram with all the muscles there, so you can kind of visualize it. The big one with the shoulder that a lot of people hear about is going to be the rotator cuff. So when you hear rotator cuff, a lot of people just think, oh, it's this little spot right here. But I mean, they're right, they're not wrong. But those are the tendons that stabilize around the joint, but the muscles that are attached to it are going to be the infraspinatus, the supraspinatus, the subscapularis, and the teres minor. And that's just all in the scapula, which you'll see in the diagram. So those are really, really super important stabilizing muscles of the shoulder. And then you have some other accessory ones, the lats, the teres major, the biceps, the triceps, the delt. So yeah, there's a lot more happening here. But those are the muscles. That's the what. The where, we're going to be focusing on kind of the shoulder capsule, kind of getting some movement in there, and also releasing some of the muscles. So a lot of the focus is going to be on lengthening the muscles in the front and releasing a lot of the muscles in the back. So that's kind of the where we're going to be focusing on. And again, just like when we're talking about for the hip complex, you want to know generally where the attachments are to the muscles, where it starts, where it ends, or the origin of the insertion. So you work the whole length of the muscle, because you can have restriction either in the muscle fibers, adhesions or muscle knots. You can have fascia binding and scar tissue buildup anywhere along the line of the muscle. So you want to focus on releasing all of it. Because kind of like how I mentioned in the hip video as well, where you are feeling the pain might not be where the pain is coming from. So feels like it's more of a riddle or a puzzle, but I mean sometimes it is, but just hit all of it just to be safe. Why not? So that's the who, what, where. When, this is probably going to be the same for any muscle that I talk about with myofascial release. Best with heat, I think. But you can kind of do that whenever. Whether it's after a workout or after a shower, whatever. Heat pack. I think a heat pack would be good. That's my suggestion, heat pack. Okay, so when? Who, what, where, when, why. So why? 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 Oh, yes. Okay, got it. Okay, so now we're to the why. The why. Why you would want to use any of these self-myofascial release techniques and tricks would be if you lift your hand up and you might feel like a sharp pain or a pinch. Don't want to scare anybody, but that could be like frozen shoulder kind of thing, or it could just be an impingement. An impingement is when like a joint, there's just something kind of stuck or limiting the movement of the joint. It's just pinched, okay? It's just like going up into a harder object. Like if you jam something in the hinge of a door, like it just won't open because something's stuck in there. So an impingement, sharp pain. If you feel weakness, so say like grip strength, or if normally you're able to just lift your milk carton and pour yourself a glass of milk or a bowl of cereal, but you know, eventually, maybe gradually, you feel like just doing that, you need to help it out. So if you're feeling weakness, or if you feel numbness or tingling in all the fingers, some of the fingers, maybe in the hand, maybe you feel some pain in your elbow when you're doing push-ups, or pain in the front when you're doing push-ups or tricep dips. So when you're doing physical activity, if you're feeling that pain, it could mean that something's pinched off, something's blocked, something's bound up, something's stuck, something needs to be released. So these are good for those, the why. Who, what, where, when, why. How. Okay, so now I'll show you how to release and stretch some of these areas. Moving this around, like I said, kind of off the bed or the couch is probably a good way to start. So then, the next one that I want to show is a foam roller one. So we're kind of incorporating that fourth floating joint kind of action, right? So this is between the thoracic wall and your shoulder blades, trying to kind of clear out that junk that's around underneath the traps and the rhomboids, but also kind of incorporating the whole complex too. So where you want to start is your foam roller actually parallel to your spine. So you'll lay on it, and you want to put it, if you've got a short foam roller like I do, you want to get it in between your shoulder blades specifically. My head kind of feels like it's falling down. But from here, again, you can just let the gravity hang a little bit. And then the first thing you want to do is lift your arms straight up. And then you just want to protract and retract. Or you want to lift your shoulder blades forward or up and then bring them down. So you kind of want to basically massage in between the shoulder blades with this movement. So I can feel kind of the junkiness in between the shoulder blades, and I'm kind of working that out. So then from here, you can go, I'm kind of hitting the couch here, but go out to the side. You can feel that stretch in the pecs, in the front of the shoulders. And then from here, you can go back, and the first couple passes, just kind of go where you get a little bit in line with your ears. Don't take it too far. Just feel it out and keep going further. If you can go all the way back, you can. And then from here you can do circles. So I like these. These are, I call them snow angels because they kind of look like that. So you can go up and down. So you might feel and kind of hear some crunchiness, a little bit of grinding. As long as it doesn't hurt, it's actually really good for that stuff to loosen up and move around. So then from here, you can kind of give yourself a hug, and then you can roll, and you might want to open up your legs a little bit for more of a base. But then you can kind of roll back and forth like ping pong against your shoulder blades. Back and forth. You can kind of bring your elbows down to kind of give it a real good stop into your shoulder blades. That feels pretty good. So then you can ease up off of that. So then you can go perpendicular to your spine from there. And again, aim in between the shoulder blades here to support your neck. And then here, so you're in between your shoulder blades, you'll go back, so you're going to extend your spine and then flex your spine. So you're focusing on getting movement in your thoracic spine that connects into the muscles that connect into the scapula. And then supporting your neck too, you can just now roll into all of that, wherever feels good. So that is foam rolling kind of in between the shoulder blades and up and down the spine a little bit more. So that's a good foam rolling technique there. Another one that I like to do is going now to the side here and hitting the latissimus dorsi, maybe a little bit into your infraspinatus too, serratus anterior, these muscles kind of out here. So you can get on the side. Now you can keep a lot of weight on your elbow or a lot of weight on your hip, and you can really not put that much weight on here if it's really tender. But you can kind of lift off your hip and be putting quite a bit of weight up here and roll that out. That's pretty good. So there's that one, that's good. A little bit of a movement, one that's focusing on the rotator cuff with the use of the foam roller. You can kind of rest your head on the foam roller as you have your arm, your shoulder and your arm flush to the foam roller here, and you start with your hand, your fingers pointing towards the ceiling. So here you just kind of gently rotate, drop your arm down. So you want to keep your elbow up here, you don't want to bring it down like that. So you'll feel a stretch kind of in the back of your shoulder here. You can take your other hand and help assist it down. Again, you can do a little bit of that active isolated stretching. You can resist against this top hand. 2 seconds. Go a little bit further. Resist. Go a little bit further. Resist. So you can go a little bit deeper and you can stretch out your rotator cuff a little bit more. And then, while you're here, you can just roll your neck a little bit. Again, your neck, right, your upper traps, your levator scapulae, that all connects into your shoulder blade as well. So, this feels good, but this also actually helps too, rolling up here. You can do this with a ball stuff later too, but we'll show you that. So that one's good with foam roller stuff. So then, next we're going to move on to the ball.